Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We go back to New Year's Eve, 1944, for an episode of the Jack Benny program, a whole bunch of New Year's resolutions and their annual New Year's allegory, The New Tenant.
The Jack Benny program.
Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Larry Stevens, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is New Year's Eve. Yes, New Year's Eve. The one time in the year when everybody should let their hair down.
Yes, sir.
Jackie said let it down, not take it off.
Pardon me. Continue, Don.
So, in keeping with the spirit of New Year's Eve, I bring you a man who will get up at midnight, hang up his calendar, refill his hot water bottle, get back in bed again. Here he is, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Playboy Benny, wishing you all a Happy New Year. Don, that was a funny introduction, and this being New Year's Eve, I'm not going to be mad at you. Of course, I'll hate myself in the morning. Yes, Don, here it is, New Year's Eve, and in just a few hours, it'll be 1945. 1945. Gosh, what I wouldn't give to be 19 again.
What you wouldn't give to be 45 again.
Mary, that's an easy joke if I ever heard one. But this is New Year's Eve. But then I'm not going to be mad at you, you know?
Thanks, Cookie.
You're welcome, Poopsie. Oh, hello, Phil. I didn't see you come in.
Hiya, Jackson. Well, I wanted to surprise you. Do you notice anything different about me?
Let's see, a new tie?
No.
New shirt?
No.
Oh, a new suit?
No.
Well, what is it?
I'm wearing those lousy shoelaces you gave me for Christmas.
Phil, that is not the proper spirit, you know.
Well, Jack, I hate to bring this up, but you didn't think of me. You didn't give me anything for Christmas.
Oh, yes, Don, I ordered a nice gift for you, but it didn't get here yet. See, they're having a little trouble at Montgomery Ward. You know what I mean? And listen, kids, now that you brought it up, that was a fine present you all chipped in and gave me. A gift certificate for a dinner at the Thrifty Drugstore. The meal was good, but I kept slipping off the stool all the time. Anyway, kids, Christmas is over, and after our program, I want you all to come over to my house and see the new year in. Boy, am I going to have fun.
Oh, sure.
What do you mean, oh, sure?
You'll have fun, all right. You'll drink 3 bottles of Coca-Cola, 2 7-Ups, and 1 Dr. Pepper. Then 10 minutes later, you'll put on a lady's hat and holler, yippee!
What?
Then you'll have 2 fingers of Dad's old-fashioned root beer, and Rochester will have to carry you up to bed.
What are you kids talking about?
You're the only one I ever saw that drinks champagne out of a spoon.
Now, listen, kids, I may be that way all year, but when it comes to New... Oh, hello, Larry.
Hello, Mr. Benny. Happy New Year.
Same to you. I'm glad you got here, kid. It's time for your song.
Okay, but can I tell you about my New Year's resolution first?
Sure, kid. What is it?
Well, I made a resolution never to ask you for a raise unless you gave it to me voluntarily.
Well. Whatever made you think of that?
It's on page 84 of his contract.
It is not. Anybody that works for me can ask for a raise anytime they want to. I can't help it if the government froze salaries.
You know, you're not a bad little refrigerator yourself.
All right, Phil, all right. But the next time you want a raise, ask for it yourself. Don't send Alice and the kids around. And where did they get those ragged old clothes? What a corny act they put on.
Say, Jack,
What?
getting back to resolutions, it wouldn't hurt if you made a few yourself.
Mary, I've already made a resolution. You'd be surprised if I told you what it is.
No kidding, Jackson. What is it?
Well, I made a resolution that from now on I'm going to be friends with Fred Allen and never say anything against him.
Ah, Jack, that's really swell. You're really being magnanimous after all the things Alan has said about you.
Oh, Don, it was all in the spirit of fun. Allen was a nice guy. Never meant those things. It was just for laughs.
Yeah, you're right, Jackson. But I'll never forget the laugh Alan got when he said you squeeze a nickel so hard you get milk out of the buffalo. He was sharp that night, that kid was.
Oh, did Alan say that?
Yeah.
What a sense of humor, really.
And I'll never forget the time Alan said that you're so bow-legged and your girl is so knock-kneed, when you dance together you look like a mix master.
What a sense of humor he used to have.
What do you mean, used to have?
Well, that guy's mentality is so low he has to lie down to think.
Jack, your resolution.
And with those bags under his eyes, his face looks like an old pair of pants with the pockets inside out.
Jack, your resolution.
I've still got till 12 o'clock. Think, kid, well, I think of some more. I hope I get some beauties before midnight. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as is our custom every year at this time, we will present our annual New Year's play entitled The New Tenant, or Goodbye 44, Hello 45. As most of you will remember, this is an allegorical fantasy that takes place...
Hey, Jackson, just a minute. What do you mean by allegorical fantasy?
Well, for instance, Phil, did you see Dumbo, the little elephant with the big ears?
No.
Did you see Ferdinand the Bull?
No.
Well, did you see the reluctant dragon?
No, I haven't had a drink in 3 months, Jackson. I've been trying to get away from this stuff. You know, you'll hate...
Well, I'm not going to explain it to you, Phil. You'll understand it as we go along. And that last thing you said is a lie anyway. Now, in our... not even in the script, I know. Now, in our fantasy, I will again play the part of the old year 1944, who has been living in a big boarding house called the United States, which is run by Uncle Sam and his wife, Columbia.
Hey, Jackson, am I going to play the part of Uncle Sam?
Yes, Phil, you'll wear a bright blue jacket with white stars on it and red and white striped pants.
And I'll lay 8 to 5 people who think I'm Bing Crosby.
Never mind. Now, Mary, you play the part of Columbia. You'll be Phil's wife, and you and Phil have 48 children.
Holy smoke, now they'll really think he's Crosby.
Let me explain it to you, Mary. Your children are the 48 states. You see, each state is a child.
Oh, Jack, how could I possibly have 48 children?
Mary, you were born in 1776.
Oh.
What are you laughing at?
I look pretty good for an old babe, don't I?
Not bad, not bad. Now, Don.
Yes, Jack?
You play a very important part in tonight's fantasy. You're going to be the world.
The world, huh?
Yes. And loosen your belt, Don. Your equator is strangling South America. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our annual New Year's play will go on immediately after a music... Oh, darn it. I'll get it. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Benny. This is Rochester.
Oh, hello, Rochester. What is it?
You can bring your guests over any time you want. I just finished making the punch.
The punch? That's good.
But, boss, I lost your recipe, so I used mine.
What's your recipe?
Simple and direct. First, you put in a gallon of grape juice, then you start pouring in the gin.
How much gin?
Till you can't taste the grape juice.
Oh, my goodness.
That ain't all. Then you start pouring in the bourbon.
Bourbon with gin? How much bourbon do you put in?
Till you can't taste the scotch.
Scotch? What kind of a silly drink is that? Scotch, bourbon, gin, and grape juice. Get rid of it immediately.
Okay, I'll see if I can drain it out of the washing machine.
The washing machine, Rochester. I left my new shirt in there this morning.
I know, boss. I noticed it after I poured in the stuff.
Well, for heaven's sake, take my shirt out.
It's too late now. There's nothing left but the buttons.
Oh, Rochester, this is the worst yet. At least you can take out the buttons.
Oh, boss, they're so happy I hate to disturb them.
Well, I don't know what to say now, Rochester. Don't monkey with it anymore. I'll be home right after the broadcast.
Okay, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, say, boss.
Now what?
Can I leave about 10 o'clock tonight? I'm going to a New Year's party, too.
No, Rochester. Every time you go to a New Year's party, you always stay out so late.
Oh, I'm going to be back early this year.
What time?
About Thursday.
Well, all right, Rochester. New Year's Eve, enjoy yourself. But before you go, in fact, before I get home, I want you to empty that punch out of the washing machine. It's too dangerous to have in the house when you...
Don't worry, boss. As soon as I hang up,
I knew it. The punch exploded. Rochester, what happened? Rochester, are you hurt?
Not unless I make a bad landing.
A bad landing. Rochester, where's the punch bowl?
I don't know, but I'm over the Rose Bowl.
Oh, well, play, Phil. He'll be back after the game.
December 31st, 1944, Jack Benny on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now more of the Jack Benny program, December 31st, 1944.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for our annual New Year's play entitled The New Tenant, or Goodbye 44, Hello 45. As the curtain rises, it is almost midnight of December 31st, and old man 1944 is packing his bags and ready to make his exit. Curtain music. Oh, Columbia, come here a minute, please.
What do you want, 44?
Got to gather up my things before little 45 gets here. Hand me those, will you?
Are these yours?
Yep.
Why, old-timer Bobby socks.
Well, I've had my moments, you know. Now, let's see. Might as well pack those racetracks. They ain't going to be used for a while. See, there's Bay Meadows.
Here's Hialeah.
Yep. And here's Santa Anita. Say, I never knew they had a $10 window. And what else? Oh, yes, hand me that bundle of swing music, will you?
Here you are.
Thanks. I'm going to dance with the dolly, with the hole in her stocking, with the hole in her stocking, with the hole in her... Sloppy little dame, ain't she? Oh, clang, 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 went the trolley. A ding, 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 went the bell. Come in.
Hello, old-timer.
Oh, hello, Uncle Sam. Where you been the last few weeks?
Oh, I've been all over. I've been delivering Christmas presents to all my nieces and my nephews.
Well, Sam, you got here just in time to say goodbye to 1944.
Yep. In a few minutes, I'll be leaving you, and I'll never be back on Earth again.
Gosh, kind of feel sorry for you.
Why?
Now you'll never know what happened to Snowflake and Shaky.
That's right.
Say, Sam, I was looking for you yesterday. Where were you?
Well, I ran up the West Coast. I wanted to ask Henry Kaiser what's cooking.
Uh-huh.
And between what's and cooking, he launched 3 ships.
Well, you're getting the ship, Sam. Just get the men to sail them. You're all set. Well, I better finish my packing. Let's see. Maybe I ought to take along some of these moving pictures.
You want to take Going My Way? Everybody's seen it.
No, I better leave that. I want little 1945 to see it. With all the problems he's going to have, that picture will do him a lot of good.
Well, how about taking Jack Benny's new picture?
No, that's going to be one of his problems. Well, maybe I'd better...
Come in.
Well, howdy, everybody. Hi, old-timer.
Well, what do you know? It's the world come to say goodbye to me.
Yeah, I'll miss you, old-timer. Lots of things happened to me while you were here.
That's right, world. We had 365 exciting days, didn't we?
Yeah.
What you laughing at, world?
Remember last month when I burped and Tokyo had an earthquake?
Yep.
Say, World, your earthquake shook them almost as bad as my B-29s.
You're right, Sam.
Say, World, why don't you hang around till the new tenant arrives?
Sure, stay a while, world. Sit down on the refrigerator, cool off your Arctic Circle. Say, Columbia.
Yes?
Tune in the radio. This will be my last chance to get a little entertainment.
Okay.
You're listening to another broadcast of Mr. Keene, Tracer of Lost Persons.
The next case is that of a man named Benito Mussolini, alias Il Duce. A sure way to identify this fugitive is to get him up on a high building and show him a balcony. If he steps out on the balcony and makes a speech, he's Mussolini. If he steps out and there is no balcony, let's hope so.
I wonder where he's hiding.
I wouldn't worry too much about him. His troublemaking days are over.
Yeah, I'll get another station.
And now that you have answered the first one correctly, would you like to try the $2 question?
Yeah.
The $2 question is a simple one. Oh, by the way, what is your name?
My name is Adolph Hitler. But for $2, you can call me Schickelgruber.
All right, Adolph. Would you like to try the $4 question?
Yeah.
You will be
Nobody asked you, Gering.
Please, no coaching from the audience. Now for the next question. Tell me, Adolph, who won the Battle of Stalingrad?
Germany.
I'm sorry, that's the wrong answer.
Wrong! Schweinhund! You call me wrong? Adolf Hitler can't be wrong. I'm always right. Heil Hitler! Heil myself! Verbluten, Druden, Dammkopf und Dutten!
Adolf, stop chewing up the rug.
I know what you are thinking. You are thinking that because I chew up rugs, I am crazy. I am not crazy. I am Adolf Hitler. I am one of the greatest. Everybody else is crazy, but I'm all right. I just like to eat rugs.
Get another station, Columbia. Schickelgruber seems to have lost control of himself.
Okay, old-timer.
And now, Mr. Anthony, we have the case of Mr. H.
All right. Will Mr. H step up to the microphone? Your name, please.
My name is Hirohito. I live in Imperial Palace, which is located in what is left of Tokyo.
And you have a problem?
Yes, Mr. Anthony. I went into partnership with a German in a war. First, we was winning. Now we are losing. Almost every day, the big 29 fly over Tokyo. And now I wish I had never listened to that German, that no good son.
No names, please. Now get on with your problem.
Well, my problem is this. If I have the world's greatest army, and the world's greatest air force, and the world's greatest navy, then please tell me, Mr. Anthony.
Yes?
Why in the name of Nagasaki am I getting the sukiyaki knocked out of me?
I'll tell you why, Hirohito. Because you and your whole gang are a bunch of dirty, no good...
No names, please. No names.
Yes, Hirohito, you have a problem. But it's of your own making, and I cannot nor would I give you any advice, any consolation, or any hope for the future. And if you'll excuse the expression, scram, bum!
That's telling him?
Turn it off, Columbia. Shut it off. Doggone, look at that clock. Just got my duds together in time. That's the first stroke of 12. Wonder what's keeping the new tenant.
Don't worry, he'll show up. He always does.
Say, here's a tip for you, Sam. You worked hard during the time I was here, and you did a good job. But I want you to work even harder for the little fella that's coming in.
Well, don't you worry, old-timer. I'm really rolling now.
Time's a-fleeting, but I can't leave till that little shaver gets here.
That must be him now.
Yeah. Come in. Well, it's the little new year. Hello, Sonny.
Hello, old-timer. Isn't he cute? Just look at the size of him.
Yeah. Bet he doesn't weigh much more than Sinatra. What's that you got under your arm, Sonny?
Some forms I'm going to try awfully hard to get signed this year.
Yeah? What are they?
Well, here's the most important one. It says, how do you pronounce these big words?
Let's see it. Oh, that says unconditional surrender. Well, I hope you get them signed darn soon. Hey, kid, I want you to meet Uncle Sam and his wife, Columbia.
Glad to know you, folks.
Hello, Sonny.
Hiya, Bub. You ought to have a coat on with them diapers. It's pretty chilly tonight.
Yeah, I sure was cold the first night I got here. Say, Bub, I almost forgot. This is the World. Want you to meet him, too.
Hello, son.
Hello. So you're the World, huh?
Yes, sir.
Gosh, there's enough room on him for everybody.
there should be, but there are a couple of fellers that are trying to hog it all. They ain't never satisfied. Now, sit down, Sonny. I want to show you my album. A few pictures I took while I was here.
And we'll hear about those pictures in just a few moments. New Year's Eve, 1944, the Jack Benny program. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. But first, these very important messages. Pay very close attention. You need to know this. Thanks so much for making us a part of your day here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Of course, during the wartime, even the entertainment shows were highly opinionated and very pro-USA, as one would expect. And this episode, the Jack Benny program, as they prepare bringing in the new Tenant of 1945. This episode, as I said, from December 31st, 1944.
Now, here's a family picture of a bunch of Uncle Sam's nephews.
Say, they all look alike, don't they?
Well, they do in those uniforms, but let me tell you something, Sonny. They're doing a great job, and you can be proud of each and every one of them.
What are their names?
Well, I don't know them all, but there's a fella named Jones. Here's another one here, O'Reilly. There's a kid called Spinelli. Right next to him, see that colored boy there?
Mm-hmm.
His name's Johnson. Right in back of him, that's Lopez. Right alongside of him is a fella named Ginsburg. And the fella way over on this end here is Peterson. All good Americans. Now, Sonny, here's a picture of another group of Uncle Sam's nephews. Now, these boys felt just like you did. You know, about the world being big enough for everybody. These boys, just like the others, went out to do something about it.
Gee, they look like the kind of fellows that would do a good job.
They did more than a good job. Too bad they can't come back tell you about it. And listen, Sonny, one of your jobs is not to forget what they did. And here's something else you don't want to forget.
What's that, sir?
Well, you got to see that Sam's nephews and nieces here at home stay on their jobs. Keep giving blood to the Red Cross. And never stop buying bonds until you get that paper signed. You know, the one you brought with you.
Yes, sir.
And another thing.
Say, old-timer, you better get moving.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't rush me. Oh, by the way, son, Uncle Sam's got a nephew called Franklin that's been taking mighty good care of him. Ain't he, Sam?
Darn tootin'.
So keep an eye on him, son, and give him all the help you can.
Franklin, eh? I'll write that down.
Well, my time's almost up. Gotta be leaving now. Goodbye, Junior.
So long, Pop.
Goodbye, Sam.
So long, old-timer.
Well, here I go.
Goodbye, 44.
So long, Columbia. Keep 'em flying.
You're all glad to see me.
December 31st, 1944, the annual tradition of the Jack Benny Show, handing the new year over to the new tenant. Thank you so much for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station. Well, we haven't been out on the farm for a while. Let's check in on Claudia and the family and the new baby. This episode was originally broadcast December 31st, 1948.
Your Coca-Cola bottler presents Claudia, based on the famous play and novels by Rose Franken. Brought to you transcribed Monday through Friday by your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. Relax, and while you're listening, refresh yourself. Have a Coke. And now, Claudia.
Hooray, you've come. Roger, are we late? Right on time. Come in.
Oh, it's so good to see you, Roger. Happy New Year's Eve.
Thank you. And there's nobody I'd rather spend New Year's Eve with than you, Claudia, and David, and our good friend here, Mr. Tucker.
Right
come
here.
in.
We're coming in. You needn't corral us like herding cows.
You know, I don't think I've ever been in your apartment, Roger.
Oh, it's the usual sort of apartment, hotel in New York City. Very depressing. Take off your coats.
Oh, thank you.
We'll just catch our breaths for a few moments and make our plans. Sit down, please. Sit down.
Oh, this is exciting. This is wonderful. I don't think I've ever really had a New Year's Eve before.
You don't say.
No. Well, first I was alone with Mama. We certainly wouldn't have gone out New Year's Eve together. And then all of a sudden I was married to David. Last year we didn't either.
Didn't what?
We didn't celebrate. It was just enough just being married.
That in itself would be cause to celebrate.
What's the matter, Mr. Tucker? You're so silent.
Ain't had nothing to say, son.
Well, that's a new one.
I've kind of been chewing and swallowing and digesting. Is this here where you live, Mr. Killian?
Anything wrong?
Pardon my saying so, but this ain't no fit way for a decent man to live.
I'll pardon your saying so if you'll tell me what's the matter with it, Mr. Tucker.
Seems pretty obvious to me. You ain't got no grounds but that silly little window box setting in the window. And you ain't got nothing to look at but them picayune paintings on the wall.
That one happens to be a valuable Picasso, darling.
Dear, what'll Roger say?
Well, you know, I've thought of all this myself often.
Ooh, well, no wonder you got aches and pains in what you have.
No argument, Mr. Tucker.
It's a wonder to me you're alive at all.
It's more of a wonder to me why I don't do something about it.
If I had to go around every day wearing clothes like these, what's hitched on my back tonight, I ain't sure but what I'd have rheumatism myself.
I was just going to say you look very handsome, Mr. Tucker.
Oh, sure, I'm looking handsome, but I'm a handsome man, I am.
Yes, you are.
That don't mean I'm comfortable, though. Tight squeaking shoes, stiff collar, coat and vest and tie. Heck, man might as well be in his funeral suit dressed up like this. When Delilah saw me, she dang near jumped out of her petticoat.
Didn't your sister think you were handsome, too?
Handsome? She downright turned green with jealousy.
Oh, go on.
So she saw fit to lecture me as to why I couldn't look like this every day. That's a woman for you. Yep, that's them. Let's begin the shenanigans. Come on.
It's still early.
Early? What? It's past 10 o'clock.
Well, that's early for New Year's Eve.
That ain't the silliest thing. Why, my hog's been sound asleep for pretty near 2 hours now. You can't tell me it's early.
New Year's Eve, unfortunately, is not measured by your hog's bedtime, Mr. Tucker.
Well, just because New Year's Eve don't know better don't mean Jared Tucker don't either. My heels are kicking to get going. Enough of this sitting around and plavering. Come on, let's go.
Well, it looks as if we'd better get going on our nocturnal rounds, David.
First, where are we going, Roger?
I made reservation at 38 Club.
38 Club? Where's that?
38 East 38th Street, of course.
38 Club. What's the matter? They run out of names?
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
I ain't going to no second string places.
When they call it by the street, Mr. Tucker, you can be sure it's very swanky.
Well, then, let's be on our way. My shoes are starting to pinch.
I'm ready.
I'll just go inside and get my hat and coat. Oh, would you like to see the other rooms, Mr. Tucker?
Well, I wouldn't mind if I do. No matter what it is, even 4 rooms atop of one of these here skyscrapers, there ain't no place like home, is there? No?
There ain't.
David, what a wonderful pair, Roger and Jared Tucker.
It just proves that oil and water do mix.
Darling, aren't you dying to see Mr. Tucker in a nightclub? I can't wait.
Yes, I'm just dying to see Mr. Tucker in a nightclub. I just can't wait. It ought to be amusing at
Certainly
that.
you're expressing yourself conservatively tonight.
One of us has to keep his head.
Seriously, though, David, aren't you really glad Roger asked us to bring him along?
Seriously, Claudia, I am.
Oh, you idiot.
It'll be a New Year's Eve the old man will never forget.
Me neither, I can tell.
Oh, you can.
Yep, David, will you please stop making me giggle? My nose powdered so pretty.
What on earth has that got to do with anything?
Nothing.
Here we are. Oh, those two. Always giggling.
Come on, young ones, pull yourselves together, 'cause I aim to take this town, wrap it around my finger, and sling it to the vultures where it belongs. Let me get my teeth into that 38 Club. Come on, let's go.
Well, what do you think of it, Mr. Tucker?
So, this is it, son?
This is the Club 38 New York New Year's Eve. It's the best we have to offer.
Yep.
Everybody's so excited.
Yep. Everybody sure is.
It certainly is noisy.
Mr. Tucker, you haven't said anything much. I mean, for you. Don't you like it?
Yep, I like it.
Roger, he's speechless.
Yep, he is.
I haven't been in a nightclub like this in years. As a matter of fact, I don't think I was in one like this years before either.
How about some champagne?
It's on me.
Not at all.
No,
I've ordered it already.
Champagne! We really are doing this up brown. Mr. Tucker, you like champagne?
Yep, yeah, I like it.
Hey, look at the paper hats on the table. David, put one on.
What for?
Just to be silly.
All right, how's this?
Oh, dreadful. Take it off.
I don't think that our friend Mr. Tucker's enjoying himself.
He shut up like a clam the minute we stepped into this place.
I'd love to know what's going on behind those beetle brows of
What are
his.
you two boys whispering about?
Can't a man have a secret with his partner?
No, a man cannot. He has to share it with his partner's wife.
No.
Don't you think so, Mr. Tucker?
Yep. Well, I'll be danged
What'll you be danged about?
if this ain't a spectacle.
Don't you like it here, Mr. Tucker?
Well, it ain't a matter of liking it, ma'am. It's a matter of believing first. Look at all them females strutting around with their shoulders showing. It's midwinter. They ain't got better sense than to walk around looking as if they was about to step into a shower bath.
They do look sort of chilly, don't they?
Chilly, ma'am. If it was me, my goose pimples would be sticking out like a range of the Rocky Mountains. All them bangles and fandangles jingling all over them, strutting around more proud than a cackling hen being sold at the Danbury Fair. Well, I'll be gone dang.
Certainly make the female race sound like a troop of fools.
What else?
Oh, come on now, Mr. Tucker. Certainly you find them more interesting than that.
With your taste for female beauty, I should think you'd be quite intrigued.
Son, if I was only 10 years younger, there wouldn't be one of them females dancing by without winking at me and dropping their handkerchief at my feet.
And would you bother picking it up?
Pick it up, you're darn tootin' I'd pick it up. Just to tickle their noses with it, though. Sure is a loony bunch. More shouting going on at a hog calling contest.
Oh, there's our champagne.
Looks like weak ginger ale to me.
I agree with you, Mr. Tucker, but don't tell anybody. It's not fashionable not to like champagne.
Who gives a hoot what's fashionable? Still, I'll give it a try. Not that I ain't had it before, mind you, no.
Oh, of course not.
One of my nephews got married, and they insisted on being snooty and served champagne. Wedding was deader than a mackerel laying on a beach 8 days for.
All right. Well, here we are then. All port. Toast, David.
Mr. Tucker, you're the sage around here. You make the toast.
I ain't got no toast to make save to peace, to our health, to our happiness, to a warm winter, a cool summer, a rich harvest, and to our long life, even mine.
I'll drink to that.
I'll join you. Oh, this is champagne. This is what all the fuss and shooting's about, eh? I'll take fresh glass of cow's milk any day.
Don't tell anybody, Mr. Tucker, but I'm with you, too, on that.
Twixt us, ma'am. This stuff ain't no more than highfalutin gargle.
Well, hello there, Grandpa.
Hey, now, you addressing me, you young filly?
I sure am addressing you, Grandpa.
Well, if it is, you better not address me, Grandpa. It ain't fitting.
Now, listen to you. If you ain't a car...
Now, listen, lassie, I got a good 20 years of rootin', tootin', shootin' before I'll submit to being called Grandpa.
Well, I do declare.
Ask any one of my friends around here. And they'll tell you it ain't fitting to call me Grandpa. And that there geezer with the mustache and shellacked hair setting on your left, he ain't got 1/10 the pep in him Jared Tucker's got in his big toe.
And I suppose now you're going to weave me some of those tall stories about how you build these skyscrapers with your own bare hands.
Well, if I'd a mind to, I could.
And I suppose you're going to tell me, too, that you own an empire of diamonds and you're the sable king of this city.
Senorita, sables and diamonds ain't half of my wealth.
Lordy me, now don't tell me that you're a movie star.
Princess? If I'd have willed to have been a movie star, what's that feller's name? Lionel something or other. He'd be milking cows instead of me.
So that's what you are, Sugar Lamb. You're a millionaire cattle ranger.
Well, that ain't such a bad thing to be, hey?
Now, let me see. You're a skyscraper builder and a cattle ranger and a diamond king and a movie star. Oh, Grandpa, the folks at Galmeets in this New York sure are characters. Yes, sir. You New York characters sure are something.
You hear that? You heard what you called me.
You New York character, you.
It's only 11 o'clock.
Happy New Year, everybody. I repeat, Jared Tucker's always ahead of his time.
What a funny old man he is. Look at him, jumping around in his chair as if he were 11 years old.
I hope I'll live to be an old woman just like him.
You darn tootin' you will.
David. Listen, David.
What?
We're going to go to Times Square for midnight, aren't we?
Right, we are.
I certainly think Mr. Tucker ought to be in Times Square when tomorrow comes in.
Well, I'll really be gall dang This time, I mean.
Don't tell me we found something that impresses you, Mr. Tucker.
I ain't impressed. I'm struck dumb.
Hey, give me your hand, Claudia. You'll be swept off.
David, I've been crushed. It's wonderful.
I didn't know there was so many men, women, and children in the whole world. I sure do wish could figure what all the shouting's about.
Everybody's shouting because the next person's shouting. Nobody knows why. The next person's shouting.
It's New Year's Eve, darling.
I know, but the people shouting the old year going out or the new one coming in.
Both. What's the difference? The important thing is to shout.
Somehow, though, I don't feel like shouting.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Inside, I feel so quiet. David, I bet everybody else feels like that, too, but still they keep on shouting, even Roger and Mr. Tucker.
They're shouting for the benefit of each other because nobody wants the next person to think that he doesn't feel like shouting.
Maybe that's it. Oh, darling, hold me tight. The minute hand's almost at midnight.
It's going to be a good year, darling.
The last one was so good to us, it's almost frightening.
A great deal is expected of this year. We better not fail or else.
There it is. It's almost at midnight.
And all the shouting's gone out of me. Yep, son, it's teetering on the edge of tomorrow.
And we have a tomorrow we're not afraid of. We're clothed, fed, and housed. What luxuries in this world. And what a responsibility.
Happy New Year, Roger, Mr. Tucker, and you, my darling.
There she goes! That's it, boys! Happy New Year!
Old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind. Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne. For old lang syne, my dear, for old lang syne, we'll drink a cup of kindness here. For days of old lang syne.
Your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola joins the cast of Claudia in wishing you and your family a very, very happy New Year.
Mr. King, I've come to wish you a happy New Year.
Why, thank you, Mr. Killian. And the same to you.
It's been quite an event tonight. Jared Tucker's first New York New Year's Eve.
And I hope not his last.
What a morbid thought.
Well, he is 86 years old.
And probably lived to be 100.
Probably, in spite of the way he'll feel on Monday.
Don't tell me this celebration is going to affect him as late as Monday.
Well, why don't you come around then and see?
I'll do that. Well, Happy New Year again.
As I was about to say, every day, Monday through Friday, Claudia comes to you transcribed with the best wishes of your friendly neighbor who bottles Coca-Cola. So listen again Monday at the same time. And now this is Joe King saying au revoir. And remember, whoever you are, whatever you do, wherever you may be, when you think of refreshment, think of Coca-Cola. For Coca-Cola makes any pause the pause that refreshes. And ice-cold Coca-Cola is everywhere. The parts of Claudia and David on this program were played by Catherine Bard and Paul Crabtree. And the entire production is supervised and directed by William Brown Maloney.
What a sweet welcome to a brand new year. December 31st, 1948, Claudia, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
How many times do you drive along the highway at a pretty fast clip and come upon a policeman at the side of the road writing out a ticket for some unfortunate traffic law violator? What happens? Almost automatically, you slow down to a sensible speed and pay more attention to driving safely. Nobody likes to get a traffic summons, but it's only by even stricter law enforcement that we're ever going to cut down on the shocking and shameful death and accident rate on our highways. That's why we should all get behind local and state safety programs and support any measures that will make driving a pleasure instead of a risk. A proper safety program includes not only more rigid enforcement of traffic laws and stiffer penalties for violating them, but also better public education on safer, saner driving habits and the elimination of dangerous stretches of highway. The surest way to cut down on accidents, though, is for all of us, motorists and pedestrians alike, to be more careful and more sensible about how we drive and walk. Let's all work together to save more lives on the road. It's up to you.
It truly is up to you. And, you know, holiday driving is just horrible. And I try to stay in. And the main reason I stay in is because it's just, I don't want to take my life in my hands. I have too many people who like me, and I don't want to get out there in the mess. So please, if you're out tonight, please drive carefully. Please be extra careful. Drive defensively and arrive alive. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. I have a web page that I'd like for you to come visit. That's at classicradio.stream. Stream our shows on demand. Learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me there. You can find our social media links. You can contact me, and you can also buy me a coffee. Now, the Buy Me a Coffee money helps us to acquire additional classic radio collections, and it also helps us in maintaining our distribution channels. So we thank you for helping. Classicradio.stream, the Buy Me a Coffee link. I appreciate every one of you who listens, and I appreciate all of you who help us keep this program alive. Now, as we always say, thank this radio station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be here each and every time we roll around on your favorite radio station. And tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.